Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon and welcome to another deck profile. If you like this sort of content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. Now, I have brought to you today Boltmon. I'm not too sure why I said that in such a strange way, but I said it. And I kind of call this SkullMeramon, I'll be honest. You know, long-time viewers of the channel will know we have a lot of respect for SkullMeramon on this channel. I actually won Jank Tank 6 with a SkullMeramon, well, Skull Hybrid themed deck. Unfortunately, I've not been able to fit this guy in because, frankly, there's a new SkullMeramon that does his job but better, at least in this version of the deck. But either way, we've built the deck. It's pretty jank. It's pretty fun. It's not going to be taking the meta anytime soon, I don't think, unless someone really, big brains it more than me. As I've said before, I often think outside of the box, and then other people will think outside of the box that I'm thinking from, so let me know if you guys like this list and what sort of improvements you guys would make to it. Anyways, let's start with the eggs. We've got 5 eggs because we churned through our eggs very quickly in this. We have the DemiMeramon from BT3 as the first one, on deletion triggering a draw 1 and then trashing a card from our hand, any card at all, whereas our other egg is the BT15 Meramon, which does the same thing but it trashes a level 5 or higher Digimon specifically from your hand to draw 2. So this one obviously is a little bit more free, and we want to make sure we're being able to trash as freely as we can. Then going into our rookies, we've got 3 of the... not that one. There we go. Apparently I saw yellow Candlemon and just assumed it was the one I'm playing, and it's not. This yellow Candlemon, not the BT18 one. The BT18 one is useless for us, but this one does have some usefulness for us. The BT8 one. Obviously it doesn't have any effects, and it can digivolve on top of a purple, which is really handy, but it simply just has an effect when you play another purple Digimon, gain 1 memory. So it's another flame target we can put in the trash to gain that inheritable. If you wanted a bit more colour consistency, say for example you were playing like trainings or something like that, then you could very much easily go for something like Ignitemon or Labramon, for example. But I went with the Candlemon just so we've got another target for our Boltmon assembly, because it is another flame traded Digimon, and all of our champions bar 1 can digivolve on top of it, so we're all good. Then we've got 4 copies of the ST14 one. This one is in here just to help us with filling in the trash. On play, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. On deletion, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, draw 1. It just helps us with filling in the trash with more of our stuff. And then we've got 3 copies of the BT20 Candlemon, which has retaliation and has an on deletion, trash 1 card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, which is pretty handy. Then our last rookie is 4 copies of Ukkomon. This is just in here to help us with searching our Digimon and Tamers, and just gaining some rookie rush aggression. I find this deck is really strong in the early game. In the late game, it does somewhat peter out, but the Ukkomon is in here to help us with our general consistency. Then going into our level 4s, we've got the 4 copies of the BT22 Meramon. So this guy has a main effect. It can digivolve on top of any flame or CS trait Digimon for 2, including our yellow Candlemon. Pay 2 cost with its main effect. This Digimon gains Raid and Piercing for the turn, then this Digimon may attack. So you get a Pseudo Blitz and Raid and Piercing all for 2 costs, which is pretty damn nice, along with a 2000 DP inheritable. Then our next Meramon, you'll be looking at and going, Josh, you can't digivolve on top of anything with this one because you're not playing the Nightmare Soldiers one. He's not in here for that purpose. He's more in here as another flame target we can put in the trash, giving us a nice 2000 DP inheritable on our Boltmon, as well as also for Floodgate removal. On play and on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less. Now, floodgates are, not seen as much in kind of jankier builds, and in more for fun formats. But the one thing that really screws over this deck, because we have such a big focus on assembly and reducing play cost, is any play cost reduction rookies. So, for example, in my testing, I tested this against Nature Spirits a lot, and Nature Spirits has the Otamamon, and the Otamamon would just be out and would just screw this deck over. So by having this, we've got an additional way of being able to delete something like that off of the board, along with some of our other effects. Then our last level 4 is our Devimon, who really unfortunately does not have the rule trait to be counted as a flame. That would be so good. but say la vie. When digivolving, if you have one or fewer Tamers, you may play one Jimmy KEN from your hand without paying the cost, and that's literally it. It can digivolve on top of a flame or CS trait for a cost of 2, so again, can digivolve on top of our yellow Candlemon, which is really nice. Then we've got the BlueMeramon from BT22 as our first level 5. This guy has Alliance, has a main effect, you pay 3 cost, you play 1 play cost 5 or lower Digimon card with a flame or CS trait from your trash without paying the cost, then this Digimon may attack, and then also has Alliance as the inheritable, which is really nice. And this main effect is really handy, especially assuming we have some ways of gaining memory when we're playing stuff out. Then we've got 2 copies of the Nightmare Soldier SkullMeramon. Again, this one is just in here to get, put in the trash. This is our butter passing robot in this deck, for anyone that's seen Rick and Morty. Gives security attack +1 as the inheritable, but it's also a level 5 that costs 5. And what did we just look at? A Digimon that plays flame trait Digimon out for a cost of 5. This is a flame trait Digimon that has a cost of 5, which is pretty handy. Then we've got 2 copies of the BlueMeramon. This one we can go into a bit more and does have a little bit more of a useful kind of thing, drawing us 2 and trashing 2 when we digivolve into it. But again, this one is mainly in here for flame assembly trash fodder. And has an inheritable effect. When you play a Digimon by effect, gain 1 memory, and that's an all turns effect. Unlike this one, which is just your turn. Not that we're going to be playing Digimon on their turn, but if you have both of these in your stack, you're gaining back 2 memory, which is not bad at all. Now our last level 5 is the SkullMeramon from BT22. Has a main effect by paying 3 cost, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, and if this effect didn't delete, this Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. Then this Digimon may attack. So really handy, kind of helps us with deleting something off the board, as well as also giving us that security attack +1 if we didn't delete anything. So kind of fills the purpose of the BT15 one in many regards, just albeit for a higher cost to digivolve into and a higher cost to use that main effect. But it also has a non-deletion effect, draw 2 and trash 1 card in your hand, which is very handy, and a non-deletion inheritable, allowing you to play a level 4 or lower Digimon card with the flame or CS trait from your trash without paying the cost. Then going into our level 6s, we'll first go into Boltmon. And Boltmon essentially is kind of your main boss monster for this build. It's got Rush. It can digivolve on top of a Flame or CS trait Digimon for a cost of 3. So obviously on the top of all of our level 5s, it can digivolve for a cost of 3, which is really nice. Has the Your Turn effect that this Digimon gains all main effects of its Digivolution cards with the Flame trait. So every card in its stack, it will gain the main effect of. It's a real shame it doesn't also gain the main effects of kind of the of CS stuff, I guess. But saying that, the CS stuff that you could play with this, it just has it as inheritable effects, so it's whatever there. But the when attacking is really nice. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level, and then has assembly as well. So it's 5 flame trait Digimon cards with different card numbers when this card would be played. By placing the specific cards for your trash underneath it, reduces the play cost, and it reduces the cost by 6. And really funnily, in a lot of my testing, I got that confused and thought it was assembly -6 and then 6 flame trait Digimon. I just associated those are the same, but it is -6 for cost, but 5 flame trait Digimon. So definitely remember that, guys. Then on other level 6, I've put in 2 copies of Darkdramon, the Ace, because I found some of the time we are playing out our level 5s and they will just be stuck on the board. For example, the BlueMeramon can get big enough to do some chunks to security. The SkullMeramon might not get deleted when you go in. So to that effect, I've got the Darkdramon Ace as a little counterplay. Gives us a little bit of de-digivolve, lets us delete stuff with the lowest play cost. Potentially could get rid of some floodgate rookies if we so needed to. Does have an inheritable, but we don't use it, so we're not going to talk about it. Then our next card is Jimmy KEN, who is kind of the heart and soul of this deck. Gives you a setting to 3 memory, and then when your Digimon are played or digivolved, any of them have the Flame or CS trait. By suspending this tamer, activate one of those Digimon's main effects. If this activated any effect, gain 1 memory. So you can keep doing that for as many main effects as you've got, which is pretty good. So if you've got multiple Jimmy KENs, obviously you can't gain memories for the same effect activation, but you can keep using Jimmy KENs to activate more main effects so long as you've got memory. Just bear in mind, you're not going to be gaining back all of that memory. You're only getting 1 at a time. Then our other tamer is Analog Youth, just to help us with getting our Digimon in the deck, and then also trashing, putting stuff into the trash. Also gains us some memory when one of our level 5 or higher Digimon with Digivolution cards is deleted. So, for example, our SkullMeramon, we want that to be deleted. We might as well get some memory back for it. And then I've got 2 copies of Miss Memory Boost. Again, just helping us with trashing stuff, as well as giving us a memory delay later on, and also fills up our hand as well. Well, that is the full deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was on DCGO, and I'm sorry if I didn't have time to do gameplay. I'm kind of strapped for time this week because I'm going on holiday at the end of the week. But I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and let me know of any sort of improvements you would make to the deck. Like, subscribe, and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content, and we'll see you again on the next video. But until then, keep it digital.